Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends. Thank you so much for dropping by and joining me for another chillaxed, hopefully, session with Unreal Engine. As chillaxed as we can get in this madness of 3D shenanigans. I hope it's going to go well. I hope you're doing well. Chris, Mr. Nate, Mr. Brian, everyone's here. I love seeing you. And yes, Brian, I think that is one of those that is also missing in my collection. I may need to get one. I think Chris already has a TNA mug. I don't have one yet, so maybe that needs to be ordered. I'd love one in my collection. Wonderful to see you. Let's start with a bit of music. Dusty Music, how's it going? Can we hear anything? Yes, I can hear something. It's all nice and quiet in the background. That's kind of what I like. That's kind of what I like. Let's start where we left off yesterday and see if we can improve it somehow. So yesterday we made this little portrait here, all in Unreal Engine. That was kind of nice. It was a bit of a tour to get there, but we managed to make it happen. So we have a bit of depth of field going here. The face was a little bit blown out, so I re-rendered that with a little bit less intensity, and then brightened up the eyes in Photoshop. Add a little bit of background here, including the glow here that she has, a little bit of a glow behind her, which is just the same layer and behind her, and then just blurred out, and that kind of generates a bit more like a fantasy look, I'm thinking. But let's see if we can improve that with maybe different lights. There could be a little bit more separation on the top here. Maybe spotlights aren't the best to use for that. And of course there's a lot of other outfits that we can try and use with this figure, as well as other poses. So let's see if we can make that happen. The last thing I'd like to try then today is to see if I can render something with a HDRI. I've never really tried that out, so that won't work with transparency, but at least we'll be able to make something, you know, that has a HDRI background, and maybe see how Unreal Engine handles that. So that's not something I've tried out. So there we go. Right, I thought so too. It's a very simple trick. Sometimes when you don't have that, and you don't have a lot of what's the word for that, like a lot of separation from the background and the foreground character, it's a really simple trick to go and just duplicate her as a layer, or the object that you want to stand out a little bit, and either add a glow to it that looks sometimes artificial. So the other option is to go and add just duplicate that layer and then blur out the layer behind it, and then see if that floats your boat. Kevin Phillips, how you doing, sir? A captive audience and a break from Russia and the Ukraine. Oh, I like it. How you doing this morning, Kevin? Good to see you. Yes, I thought we were going to do a bit of Unreal Engine to mix things up a bit, and it was a little intense yesterday, but it was very popular, so a lot of people were watching, so thank you for dropping by. It's just such a new world, this whole Unreal Engine thing, so see how far I get. Portrait stream, that was it. This is the other character here, Face, that I made the other day. While this is loading, I can always show you what that looked like. It's literally the thumbnail from yesterday. And that turned out really well. That was a bit of a tour de force. We tried this on Twitch the other day. Here, this is it. That looks very nice, so very, very handsome. This all came out as it is from Unreal Engine, and thankfully I've worked out how to make sure we get that exact pose that we want to use in Unreal Engine. So who would have thought you needed to go and record the animations in preview mode and then link them up to your sequencer? The Popeye, how's it going? Here we go. This is what we're left with. Hey, that's not a lot, is it? This is what a scene looked like yesterday. I don't believe that. Did it? Main camera. Oh yeah, there we go. That's it. Perfect. So let's try basically the same pose, different outfit, slightly different light. I think I'd like to try that. I'd like to maybe replace the spotlights that we've used with the rectangular lights. So they are a little bit softer, they shine a little bit wider, so maybe that'll do the trick. I think first, let's go and see if we can I'm still getting used to the navigation here. Sparrow player character, that's it. Sparrow player character, there we go. It's like the trackball clicking in the middle mouse button is always a little bit of a tragic one here. Let's try a different outfit on her. So that works by hopefully changing this over here. Sparrow, Autumn Fire. What else we got? The Feline Queen. Let's try that. Have we compiled those shaders there yesterday? I'm not sure if we have. Got to give it a second. And I think also you have to go and wiggle this maybe. Is that what you do? Because that's not the Feline Queen here. Change outfits already. Monarch maybe. Because I seem to remember you can just do that from here rather than having to do that in the blueprint. I mean, it'll also work there. But I thought there was a much easier way to get this done. Hello? Commands of my keyboard no longer being obeyed. What's going down? So this was Autumn Fire. Feline Queen, that's the Feline Queen. Her with the kind of the cat face. Is that something Roberta might enjoy? I'm not sure. YouTube links, you can try to put them into the chat, see if they arrive. If not, you may have to come over to YouTube and post them in here. And if they're kosher, one of my mods will make sure they get through. The Plugs Flies here. How you doing, buddy? The whole crew's here. It's Feline Queen. What else we got? Monarch. Monarch, oh yeah, that was the orange outfit here. Also not bad. Then Raven. Raven might need a little bit of shader compilation. Oh yes. Definitely. Definitely got the armor going. What else? Rogue. If anything's jumping out at you, please let me know. Then we're going to use that outfit. I think this needs a little bit of shader compilation here. So there we go. That's it. Raven. Rogue even. With the cape. I don't mind the cape. Should we do the cape? Right, Bloodfight. That's probably what it is. Yes, because I've recorded the animation already. Maybe we'll just go and change it in the blueprint, save it, compile it, and then she should show up. That's probably what it's like. And this never-ending nightmare that we call Unreal Engine. Come on, compile faster. I've noticed one of my GPUs actually has a problem with their fan. So there's 3 fans on my GPUs, and the main one that I'm using, the first fan started to make a bit of a rattling noise. I can't hear it from here because the PC's in the other room, but you know, it's one of those things. Is that the first sign of death? So compile and save, and there she is! Alright! Well, that's how that works then. Okay, cool. No worries. Just going through the other outfits here. Rogue, and then we have Tough. Yeah, let's have a look at Tough. That is not good, is it? And I think they're fairly, he says, fairly easy to replace. I just want to do it now that I've noticed the issue, rather than me not hearing it when I'm in here and then, you know, all of a sudden it goes boom. It doesn't happen when I do 3D stuff though, which is kind of cool. It only happens when I play Amazon Luna. I guess the 3D, 4K 3D decoder is working hard, so that particular part of the GPU gets hot. This is nice as well. I like this as well. Tough. With or without compiled shaders. Yeah, I'm gonna go and fix it. They're about $15 or so, these fans. I've just never looked at how I can take it off and then put a new fan on. And it's been bemoaned that on the Zotac cards, this is the one that I have. I've got 3 Zotac cards actually. And it's been bemoaned that the fans they put on there are a little bit, you know, what's the word? Cheap. I've read something yesterday about how Unreal Engine works. So with the shader compilation here, they said while they were working, when COVID hit and they were working on Fortnite, they said that it was really tricky for them. Hello? You no longer want to, we need to record a whole new animation for her. That's interesting. That is interesting, isn't it? We'll do that, no worries. Because I do like that outfit. They said that this whole shader compilation thing was killing their company. So what they're using internally is a thing that builds the shaders and then puts them on a network drive for them to access in the office. So they have a central way of doing that. So not every workstation that's using their system needs to compile shaders. So they do this once, and then Unreal Engine on every client will go and read that from the central machine. It's kind of cool. DCC it's called. And when COVID hit, they were no longer working in the office, so they said, well, we needed a different solution, so they put that network drive essentially on an Amazon S3 drive. So whenever any machine on the network will compile these shaders, it gets written down, and then anyone just goes and checks and gets them from there. That is quite clever. I thought that's very good. Gee bastards, I love it. That looks nice as well. I like to render that as well. That's cool. It is kind of nice that Unreal Engine only compiles the shaders when you actually look at the outfit. So it'd be a complete nightmare if you load this project and then it goes, do you know, give me half an hour for me to compile every shader, even for the outfits you might never use. So I do like that. But still, we're gonna have to go and wait for that number to go down here. And then pick a different outfit. Huntress, so I like that. And then there's the tutorial TTP, that's probably not it. So we've got the Huntress, we've got the Tough, I like that. Then we have Rogue, I do like Rogue. Rogue, very nice. Then we have Raven, also interesting, just don't see much of the character. Monarch, it's okay. Feline, I'm not sure. What's your opinion about the Feline, Brian? I'm not entirely sure about the Feline. Autumn Fire, we've used that yesterday. And then there's that. That's just the normal one. Then there's Skeletal Cube. That's probably nothing. And then there's Skeletal Mesh. That's probably nothing as well. Well, let's start with maybe the rough, the tough then here. Tough, compile and save, and see if we can go and bring this back as an animation, I'm thinking. So yesterday what I had to do is in fact put this here over into simulate mode and then go play this back. Oh, well, we need to go put an animation on here, of course. Anim to play. Isn't that idle? Didn't we? There's no idle anymore. Oh no, what happened to... That's crazy. Use anim asset. Yes, absolutely. That's what we want. And then down here, whoa, she doesn't have any animations anymore. Why would that be? Does it depend on the outfit which animation works? So if I go back to my, like something else, like Monarch outfit, I have tons of animations. Oh, that's interesting. So not every outfit is hooked up with animations. Maybe they forgot to retarget that. Could that be? How about Raven? Does Raven work with animation? Yeah, that'll work. So I can put that into idle. Yeah, that works. Look at that. Oh, that's interesting. Now I can go and do this. There we go. Yes, she definitely does that. And I think our old animation should work with that. Oh, how interesting. I'm using two RTX 2080s. And only one is used here with Unreal Engine. But with other applications like Blender and DAZ Studio, I can use multiple GPUs for rendering, and that speeds up my animation workflow. I've got two other workstation PCs. One has an old GTX 970, actually two GTX 970s, and the third one is my streaming PC that has an RTX 3060. Yeah, so multiple GPUs. Oh, that's fascinating. I didn't know that's how that worked. I thought we just go and change out the skeletal mesh here. There we go. This is Monarch. This is Monarch. This is the Feline Queen. He said. It not popping up here at all. Come on. Come on, baby. A total mystery to me why this works sometimes, but not always. Whereas this one here, the Sparrow Tough, that doesn't seem to have any animation, so I don't really know how to do that. But I would imagine we'd retarget the animations from one outfit to another because it's technically a different skeletal mesh. So that might be something for another day. So which ones work then here? Rogue? Did Rogue work? Yes, Rogue worked. Let's do Rogue then. Let's do Rogue as idle. And does that also mean that if I go and... So I hit play here? That hasn't actually compiled the shaders correctly, has it? Yeah, I think then... I think if we were to use Rogue, I think I have to go into the blueprint here. Pick Rogue here. Was it Rin? No, it's not Raven. Rogue. Rogue, here, there we go. And then I have to go and compile, right, I think. And then over here, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Now it's got it. That looks much healthier. Ha! Glad I spotted that. Okay, so let's use the Rogue outfit then. But I think we still need to go and record that animation again with her, don't we? Let's go and delete this then. Play this back so that we see all the wafty code bits and pieces so that the cloth dynamics work. And then... Sparrow player character, there we go. Play, and now let's go and record, madam, here. And boom. Yes, we want to record, absolutely. Yes, look at that. The clock is happening and... Oh, very nice. Okay, perfect. We've got a good shot in there. I like to try out other animations like this and then see if we can have her in different poses and whatnot. That'd be kind of cool to see that. Let's see if we go back to my main camera and see if we find something good. Maybe we need to adjust it because now we have, you know, different outfits and all that. I think I might just turn the camera over here so that I see a little bit more of her eye. Currently, I don't see any eyes. Yes, let's do that. So eject main cam. I'll go and pin this here. And then we'll take a look at the lighting. So this here, thankfully that's tracked. So if I go and move the camera over here, I should be able to see more of her eyes here. Don't want to do it. You know, I could maybe do it like that as well. That's an interesting shot. But I think maybe like this. Maybe like that. And I'm also thinking of going in a little bit further so we have more of her. See what that looks like. And then we need to go and deal with the whole depth of field thing again. Nice, and any of these frames will do. Maybe if 28 is our lucky frame. That could be. So with our little helper thing from yesterday here, the focal debug plane, I'll go and use the eyedropper first. Let's see what that yields. That's okay. Oops, there we go. Debug focal plane. But as we saw yesterday, that also gets it wrong. So maybe I'm going to need to maybe put that here. I would say directly on the eyes, but maybe also that's, you know, not quite working. We'll see what this looks like. Take that away and just take a test render here on frame 28. Let's save everything. Hey Pamela, how's it going? Notifications didn't work. They are always such a nightmare, aren't they? I've just realized I've done a little change on my Discord server. I might actually put the camera down a little bit so that we catch her eyes from slightly further down here and make the arrow a little straighter. I've had something happen on my Discord server in that I've recently changed my server from a regular server into a community server. Oops, come on, don't do that. And I've done that so that other people can subscribe to my Discord announcements. You see something like that, you know, maybe obviously not like that, but just in principle, a little bit more from eye height. Yeah, I like that. And in so doing now, Restream no longer auto posts a message in the announcements channel. It wants to pick any other channel, but not the announcements channel, which I thought, you know, was a bit of a shame. I like that better, but I think also I like to go and move the camera further over here a little bit more. Yes, I like it. How's focal plane doing? Yeah, see focal plane, totally needs adjusting. I'll just try numeric values here and see when they're kind of okay-ish. 360 is probably a good number. I like 360 as a number. Let's use it. Let's use it. Try that, frame 28, perfect. Okay, and then we'll worry about lighting and see if we can make that even better. So if I remember correctly, we just go press this here, render. We've saved render settings, of course, because we were like mega clever. We don't need to do that. And output, we want to use frame 28. 28 to 29, hit accept, see what stray renders we have in here, and just go and delete. This is a kind of a keeper. I'll go and put this here. So it's kind of empty, which is neat. And render. Come on, see what happens. Does it happen as we want it to? As we can only see black. Oh yeah, only black. Why is that then? I wonder. Didn't we have that before? Why we're only rendering black? Crazy stuff. That's true, Pamela. My Discord is supporter only, so anyone on Patreon or on Ko-fi or YouTube channel members with the supporter badge will be able to get in. Also Twitch subscribers as well. So any of those kind of supporters, they get access to my Discord. And in Discord, those are posted fairly reliably. I also post stream notifications on Twitter and on Facebook. So if you follow my Facebook page or if you follow my Twitter account, you get notifications via that. They're often more reliable than the ones that YouTube send out. I think from what I've read, YouTube have a lot of them to send out, which is kind of why why sometimes they lag. So that's why that might happen. So you might receive them like in an hour or so. I've had it where people told me, hey, I've just received a notification for your stream yesterday, and that was obviously it's a little bit too late. With your small starfish, you can't get into my family. No, I'm so sorry. But tell you what, if you buy me a coffee on Ko-fi, you get in. No worries. You get sent. It's like an automation. You get sent a link and then you get in. Sorry, Pamela. This is. And the Tux is here. How you doing? Good to see you all. I don't exactly know why our picture didn't come out. Is anyone? Does anyone know why that happened? Why we only get blackness here? Because black that's not what we had bargained for. I mean, that's our render. That's not anything, is it? Something's gone wrong. We see the preview. I haven't actually turned my character hidden in the scene by any chance, have I? There's this super long response time already again. I don't know why that's happened. Come on. Just want to make sure, is it hidden in the game? No, actor is certainly not hidden in the game. So it should be coming out here. That is weird. Maybe, I mean, just because I'm seeing these slow response times, I'm gonna go save everything. Have I done anything on the render settings? That is pathetic. Maybe I just use JPEG instead. Could try that. So definitely frame 28. There's definitely that. One other thing that I could check. Are we actually no shot Sparrow 1? Maybe that's actually incorrect. We should probably go and make sure we render the main cam. Is that something that makes a difference here? That slow response time tells me Unreal Engine is not happy for whatever reason, so I'm going to go and restart it in a minute. I'm just going to go and try this again. goes in Sparrow. No shot Sparrow. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. So JPEG instead. There's no anti-aliasing as such. Output is that. Frame 15 should probably also work. Let's try one more time. Let's try one more time. Cool, Pamela, awesome. Yes, that'll, yeah, if it accepts your card, awesome. Then you'll get sent a link and then you should get straight into my happy little Discord family. And we'd love to have you there. Yeah, so see, this is also black, so that's not what we want. So let's go delete and undo everything. Is also spurious error message here. Let's go restart Unreal Engine. Ludicrous. Restarted right again. Crazy stuff. And I very much appreciate your support, Pamela. That is very nice of you. Very much appreciated. I tried to the story with the Discord, in case you're wondering. I had a Discord when I first started with it, and it was open, and a lot of people came in, and there was a lot of disruption there, and I'd like to keep it a place where I can focus on my supporters and spend therefore more time with you in regards to support questions and just having a chat and all that. If I made that open, it would grow very fast, very quickly, and it wouldn't be a very chilled out atmosphere in there. I'd like to keep it really nice and small, and that's kind of the reason behind that. And I'd like to keep it a supporter perk so that, you know, we can talk shop on extremely difficult things. And sometimes a busy atmosphere isn't good for that. So, hey, Miss Camilla, how's it going? Good afternoon. To both of you, in fact. You're both in Europe now. I keep having, this is funny, I keep thinking of you as being in America, but you're not, so there we go. Kofi hates you. Ah, what a shame. There's two ways that you can pay. You can pay with PayPal, or you can pay with a credit card. You try both of them. So interestingly, I've noticed that we no longer have that animation here with our girly girl. That is interesting. There's some spurious keyframes in here. Let's go and take those out. I don't even know what that is. Camilla, I'm trying to add a different outfit to my character than I did yesterday. And of course, you know, things don't exactly go well or right. What is this here? Is this something that shouldn't be here? I can't even select it. I don't even know what that is. So no animation. That's cool. There's also that and that. We just don't really need any of that. There, now it's all gone. Perfect. So because what we wanted to do really is put you into simulate mode and go in the indeed simulate, and then we'll go with Sparrow. We'll record a take. We don't really need to see that anymore. If I say record, let's record. So then we're recording the animation for a bit. And it's already completed. That can't be because we've barely recorded 16 frames. I was going to record something slightly longer. Ah! Whoever designed this. 13 frames. Why is this negative frames? Ah, this is all agonizing. Let's record like 200 frames or so. How's that? Why don't we do that? Of course, this all makes perfect sense, just not to me. So, can we delete all of this now? No. Oh. Why is this all like the junk in here? I want to get rid of that. Perfect. So we're still now hopefully recording things up until here. There. Okay, good. Let's try it again. Sparrow, player character. We're still playing. Let's go record this. Man, how complicated. We're still recording. Okay, good, good, good. I have a good feeling about this. Ooh, there we see. It worked. It worked. Ta-da! Kevin has just donated. See, it worked for Kevin. Thank you so much for dropping by and signing up. I appreciate the coffee. Thank you, my friend. Also a very good point, Pamela. Also a very good point. Tell me, are you on Twitter or ArtStation at all? If so, drop a link into the chat and then we can connect that way. There, so let's try. So we've got this animation. I don't actually know how I save these things. I mean, it's now in here. I'm kind of hoping I can, yeah, look at that. I can move these things around. That's all good. So let's say we're happy with kind of any frame will probably work. I kind of have my mind set on this one here. See if this works. That's frame 43. I like it. Just checking the focus here. Like so. It could be good. Could be good. So let's go. Let's try this. Frame 43. Okay, let's try this. With the main camera selected. Click this thing. That does that. Then we'll go and put my personal render settings in here. And if that doesn't work, we can always try other ones and just start again from scratch here. 43 to 44. Accept. Fingers crossed. Hit render and come on. Did you see that there was something at the top there? Brian, remember we had this issue on the Twitch? See, I think something is being rendered, but something's also moving again. So I don't really know what's going on there. Is it that the camera position isn't keyframed and we need to do that? Is that what we need to do? Yeah, so camera is currently not recording. What happens if I go play and look it through the camera? Okay, so that looks like the camera isn't actually pointing at the correct frame there when I simulate. Well, why would that not do that? Why is this so mysterious? I don't really understand the non-logic in all this. Especially because yesterday, none of this was an issue. Yesterday, this just was working fine, and all of a sudden, it's just, you know, godforsaken, whatever. Man. Don't be stressed out, Pamela. I don't want Kofi to stress you out. We'll find a way to get you into Discord. Don't you worry about it. Maybe we'll also find a way to make this work. Well, can I just go and say tricks? Maybe I'll go and take the camera out of the equation here. How's that? Camera out. Camera not being tracked. So now I'm looking through the camera and I can see it's actually not looking at the correct thing. Excellent. Excellent, Pamela. I love it. So then, okay, let's go and unpilot that. The perfect framing that I had set up there. I don't really know why. Sometimes it's just not responding to what I'm doing here. So much for Unreal Engine, huh? So I said, first of all, I'd like the camera to kind of come from here. I'd also like for it to come... No, not duplicate, you stupid idiot. Ah, the controls are seriously, what's the word, not good. So I'd like for something like this, maybe. This is all the stuff that we've already set up. Well, let's just go and set it up again, shall we? Because that's just how we roll. I think I just put in 360 here. Did react. I'm double clicking a field. You need to kind of be there, not in 10 seconds. I don't know what this... Ah, come on, dude. Why? I'm stressed out. It is janked, Frederick. Absolutely. There we go. Thank you, Camilla. Awesome. Thank you so much for the coffee. I appreciate that. That makes me much more chilled out now. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And yes, Discord is totally free. It's just a chat app. It's really nice. It has really cool features. Oh, that's interesting. Why would that not focus on my camera now? Why does that do that? It is so bonked. It's so humped, I believe is the expression. Humped, I say. So where's my camera then? My main camera, where's that? There it is, exactly. So if I press F, why does it do that? That makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And then also, why does it take forever to respond? That is such a shame. So are we we're kind of happy with the framing, aren't we? We're just not that happy with the depth of field. See, I switch it over and then I expect something to happen. I mean, so much for real time, right? Totally not real time anymore. Pick her, there we go. And that's of course incorrect. George, you playing like today, there we go. And that is, come on, that's just, do I need to restart it again? I think I need to restart it again. It's just like, I'm doing this really difficult stuff here. I'm just lining up one camera with one character in a static pose. That's, why is that overloading Unreal Engine? I don't get it. I totally don't get it. Especially because yesterday this worked. I have it on tape, man. So let's say 330. That's too much. So let's say 320. That's not enough. So it's 310. Yeah, 310 is probably what I'd like. Okay, 310. Awesome. Goodie. Oh, because I didn't have a camera cut track in here anymore. Do you know, I think this is why the animation didn't render. I'm just realizing I didn't have a camera cut track. So now that I've got my happy camera here set up, I think I need to go and hit track, add main cam. And it still doesn't have a camera cut track up here. So I wish I knew why all these things aren't happening when they're supposed to. What's the duration here on the animation? Yeah, the duration is kind of incorrect, isn't it? Also wish there was a different way of changing that other than with these finicky sliders here. That should be enough. Dude, from frame 0, I'm like a frame 0 kind of fan here. There we go. Frame 0 to here. What's this? It's camera cut track. That's bogus here. We're not really there yet. There. It's got duration set up. We've got the actor in here. Now let's go with camera selected. Very important. Track. Actor to sequencer, add main cam, and that should also make a camera cut track. All right, good stuff. Debug thingy can be turned off. So now then, let's see if we can render a frame here. Something where she doesn't have the bow directly next to her eye. So maybe this one, frame 44. Godforsaken movie render queue thing. Let's go take this out. Submit it again. Come on, can we make it happen? What did I do? Oh, I created a camera. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Let's go do that. Frame 44. That. This creates a camera that submits a render to the queue. Here it is. I might just go and set these things up from scratch. I think JPEG I don't want. I'd like to go and have a PNG. And what frame did we say was good? I've already forgotten now. 44. So under output, we say custom playback range. I say frame 44 to 45, so that frame 44 gets rendered, I take it. Then we'd like something nice and large, so like say 3000 by 3000. Custom frame rate we deduce doesn't really make that much of a difference. And we're not going to use anti-aliasing because it doesn't give us the depth, it doesn't give us the transparency. So we're just going to leave that out. And I'm going to go and over-save that. Ah, you see, that was wrong. I didn't mean to do that. Dang. I've loaded it instead of over-saving it. Okay, fine. I'm okay. I'm gonna try it again. I say frame 44 to frame 45. The rest is essentially the same anyway, so got to save your render settings, otherwise it's never going to come back. Save as preset. This is actually a button here in this crummy dialog, and then you oversave that, so it goes. Wipes this out. Oh, it is messing with my mind. Now let's render. Come on, picture. Picture comes out. It's wonked out, of course. We don't really know why. Ton of motion blur in there. Oh no, it's not actually. Oh, that's interesting. So in the preview we saw a ton of motion blur, but in the final render we don't. Ah. Can anyone explain that? Hey, at least it's a picture. I'm already super happy about that. There, 1 hour to get a picture out of it. Hey, you tried, Pamela, you tried. Technology drives me nuts as well, so I totally hear you. I totally hear you. Repetition is key to human learning. You're so right, Tux. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I've experienced that. You do the same thing. If it's super new, it's all very difficult and stressful, but you keep doing the same thing like 50, 60 times and all of a sudden you know it. And it sounds crazy that you have to build basically the same shot 50, 60 times, but eventually it grows on you. And also, exactly, and that's the other good attitude about this, never give up. Absolutely. I totally learned that from my wife, Julia. Very, very nice. This is something that I really, like she used to do these platinum medals on Project Gotham Racing, and I thought gold is difficult enough, but of course there's like, I don't know, steel and dirt and whatever. Eventually you get to this bronze, silver and gold, and then there was always this elusive platinum medal, and she always thought, you know, let's do the platinum medal. I was thinking, no, I can barely do bronze, and I'm okay if I reach something. And she goes, no, it's a way to do this. Yes, Julia here is my wife. That's yes, she's my wife. Yes, we've been together since we got married in 2004. So there we go. Very, very cool. Depth of field. Let's fix this. Eyes need to be in focus rather than this here. So depth of field is further at the back. It's a bit of a shame, I gotta say, that the depth of field preview here, this debug focal plane, that doesn't actually show you all that accurately where it is, because looking at the plane I'm thinking, well, that's not where the focal plane is. So or is it? I can't tell. So I'm thinking that needs to be kind of further with us here. Let's try 300. That's too much. So it's 305, 304 even, 303 even, 302 maybe. That's too much. So it's 303. Let's try 303. Let's try it again. And never give up. Let's keep going at it. Well done with the maths, Nate. Years keep passing by so quickly. Sometimes I just forget. Depth of field is now better, but certainly not solved, so it still needs to come forward quite a bit for it to be usable. All her eyes are just not in focus. That could be. So I can see it here. Maybe it needs to be further back, actually. Maybe it needs to be further back then. Even though it looks like it should be further afield, but literally nothing is as it seems in Unreal Engine, right? I'm thinking, let's try 3. Did we try 310 already? We did, didn't we? Let's try 315. So like deliberately further back than I'm thinking it should be. 315, let's try that. And I don't think, for some bizarre reason, I don't need to submit this to the render queue again. It just goes and works that way. Why, we don't exactly know. Yeah, see, there we go. That's improved. I think I might put it back even further, which to me doesn't make all that much sense, but it is getting better. It is getting better. And then we'll talk about lighting. Do I need to go further back, like 318, something like that? Let's just try 318. Let's try. Me too, actually. I hate time as well, Nate. Absolutely. Julia is currently involved in something called Core. That is a game engine that's based on top of Unreal Engine. It's a company called Manticore, and they have, see, we're getting closer, but we're still not quite there yet. The eyes really need to be in focus here. Why is there no helper thing that lets us help there? Crazy stuff. We'll just keep filling with the values. We'll get there eventually. See how far the focal plane is away from the eyes? Does that make any sense? So yes, Julia is working on something called Core, and it's a game engine built on top of Unreal Engine, and they got funding from Epic to do that, and it's an interesting metaverse idea. So you build games, you play games, and you hang out with a community that also builds and plays games, and it's somewhat easier to grasp than Unreal Engine. So even though they use Unreal Engine technology, they don't use this godforsaken editor here, because that, you know, it's not for everyone, as we've found out, and so they obviously realized that and wanted to address it to make making games a little bit easier. It's still difficult, but you don't deal with importing your own objects. They make all the objects available, and from them you build stuff. So you can't import an OBJ, for example. All the primitives are there to make your own stuff with it, but you can't import stuff. So it's kind of a closed system, and it's an interesting idea. So you have one avatar, like a bit like in Fortnite, but imagine you pick a Fortnite character and you play with that character different games. That's kind of a cool idea, and it's all one system, so you don't have to go out and install other games. It all works from one launcher application. Kind of an interesting concept. So I'll try 320 now. I don't want to make it too far back, because 320 almost looks like it's not even on her face anymore. Wonder actually if I can see the debug plane also in here. Oh, I can. That's interesting. Yeah, see how far back that is now. But let's see if that is now rendering what we want. Yeah, so she's involved in that. That's why she sometimes doesn't hang out in the chat. Yes, how about your man, Camilla? He was vaccinated and he got the Rona, which is super uncool. Yeah, we wish him all the best. And hopefully it doesn't hit him as hard as it would some people. Come on, it's still not quite there yet, is it? I feel like it wants to. I'm going to keep trying here. I'm going to keep pushing this plane back and see if it at one point does what we need. Come on. Double click. Wait a second. Control A. Wait a second. 325. There we go. Nudging it back by in terms of 5. We'll see what happens. Render. Okay, cool. Okay. Woohoo! All right, Pamela, that is good. My friend had a positive test, but it was a duff one. I see now it's getting seriously out of focus. That's cool. So that is obviously the wrong direction there. I wonder if our values are getting. The 325 was the wrong direction. That's interesting. Yeah, so my friend was really shocked he got a positive test, and that was uncool for him. Maybe I'll actually make notes of this. So this is here, 325. I'll just keep these around so that we know what's what. I'm going to go and put this one at 320. Like, you know, totally doing a test here now. 320, which of course I haven't saved. And he was so shocked that he first got this positive test and instantly called all his colleagues and said, oh, I can't play this guy, I can't play this guy, I need to self-isolate. And then they called him back. I think they recommended doing a second test, which he then did, but it takes hours for that to happen. And that test was negative. So he doesn't actually have it. It was just a false positive, which, you know, it does happen. And he didn't have any symptoms either. So, okay, so this one was 320. 320. Let's go and do one with 315 then. which in my book should be much better in regards to depth of field. What's the point of the eyedropper if it's so super difficult, huh? And so 315 is also going off. So it's literally, we're talking single values here. I think this is now going the wrong way. 315 is also incorrect. So far then 320 is the closest, but it's not quite there yet. So let's try literally single values here and see when we reach the exact focus, and also hope it's not going to take 7 hours every time to try and do this. So let's say 317 now. This is fun. I'm glad I can do this together with you, because, you know, doing this by myself would just be so boring. Trossala, okay. Town of Thor, I love it. Oh, that is so cool. Vikings thought Thor lived here, so they came to worship him here. Oh, that is cool. I love it. The f-stop of the camera tugs, I'm happy with that. I like the shallow depth of field. I just want to see the, you know, I need to find the correct focal point. That is just so easy to adjust in other applications, and in Unreal Engine, nightmare. Yeah, I want it to be this shallow, so I could make it less shallow, and then, you know, but that wouldn't emphasize the portrait features. So it's something I like doing in things like DAZ Studio and Blender, to give it like that shallow depth of field that you really emphasize the eyes. If I make it less shallow, so that's another thing in Unreal Engine. If I make it less shallow and thereby close the aperture down, it means, although the depth of field will get wider, the exposure also needs to be compensated. So Unreal Engine doesn't do this manually, doesn't do this automatically. I have to do this all manually if I want those types of results. Still not quite there yet, but I think we're getting there. What value was that now? This was 317. Let's go and rename that. 317. We're going in the right direction. So let's try 318 now. This is boring to watch, isn't it? Good thing the rendering doesn't take 10 minutes. It's just there immediately. Oh, I see. Oh, interesting. Maybe I do need to look into that then. Octane, I just thought, is a total nightmare, because you need to set up every material again, and who has time for that? But then who has time for stuff like this? So maybe I can see why. What I do like about Octane is that once you understand their way of rendering, you just pick the front end you prefer and then stick with that. So I really like that. So if you have to change front ends, at least you know your render engine inside out. So that's kind of cool. I can see the appeal there. I can see the appeal there. I've looked into it, and I thought it was, as I said, I thought it was interesting, but it's, you know, 318. Oh, sorry, it's 318, not 19. This was 318. I'm thinking of trying 319 next, and if that doesn't work, then we'll just go on. Leave it, do something else. Try HDRIs. I'll render this one more time. I can't believe it's gonna make any difference whatsoever. Whatever the preview does, we don't really mind. Was this it? It's still not in focus. But then hey, if the eyedropper tool can't do it, then what am I gonna do really? If the eyedropper tool can't do it, and two visualization tools suck at showing you accurate depth of field, I think we might as well give up. We have tried long and hard. Let's just have one final crack. If we just say the focus is whatever now, I'm gonna go and have one last crack at the lights, and then I'll restart Unreal Engine. We'll have a look at rendering a character like this with a HDRI. That's another interesting thing to look at. Also, don't really know why I'm getting these messages here. I know so little about Unreal Engine. It's either intuitive or it isn't. So I think one thing I'd like to change actually is the light that we get from the back here. So there's this one from the front. This is a rectangular light, I think. And that's nice to give her a bit of facial illumination here. So I'm going to go and leave that where it is. Maybe bring it over here a little bit. But this one here, I'm not entirely happy with. So I might just set up a completely new light for that. So delete the camera as well as the light and just literally start again from scratch with that. So this one here, I'm kind of okay with, even though it doesn't do as much as I thought it should. I'll see if I crank this up a bit. Oh, it is already cranked up to the max. I might just go bring this in a bit closer then. This is also, is this tracking you? No, it's not actually tracking. Which is, oh, that's just the light. I'm so sorry. I need to go and grab the camera for that to make any difference. There we go. That's because that's tracking now. Okay. Yeah, so it's supposed to get the separation on the bow as well as the back of the head here. And I'm not sure if it's actually doing a good job at that. I think it does. I think it does. So let's go give her one from here. But I'll set up that camera again from here. So cinematic camera actor. This hesitation is a dead giveaway. The Unreal Engine is for some bizarre reason just not happy. 000. And I'll try this now with rectangle light. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. We haven't got all day. So much for real time. Cine camera actor. I'll go and call this one Light Cam 2, right? Because that's the one I deleted. Light Cam 2. And then there's my rectangle light. I'll go drag that underneath you. Come on, come on. Today would be good. There we go. That's nice. Then with light cam selected, I'll go and use this look at tracking. Enable today. There we go. Very good. Track to the target point. Oh, and then also the rectangle light needs to be come on, today. There we go. Movable. You can do it, buddy. You can totally do it. I believe in you. And that comes kind of from here. I'm thinking, so let's go and have this camera pinned here so we get a bit of a result. I can also, on these cameras here, they just show me this preview here, but if I don't want to see it all that rectangular, I can just go and make that something else. Like I can just pick a Super 8. I suppose that's fairly, well, let's just pick IMAX maybe. IMAX is good. That's slightly squarer. Come on, today. There we go. That's more like what the light sees. And then the rectangle light, I think, gives us a bit less of a harsh shadow here, so better kind of light quality. I think all it needs is a little more intensity. Come on, dude. There we go. All right, you can do it. Let's try a 20 here, and just keep watching what happens here. Yeah, that might be a bit too much. So 20 was probably kind of cool. This was the default. Let me just try 20. I feel that's a little bit better all around. Shame the depth of field isn't where we wanted it to be. But hey, we can't have everything. I suppose the only thing I'd like to improve is this shadow here. And that, I think, is being caused by this light from the back. I think that's what causes that. So if I go and make that light a bit softer, if I remember which exact light that is, this one here. Yeah, that's the one. So under light cam 3, that's the one. See if I can make that softer somehow, or less intense. That's also an option. And actually I can see it's not actually caused by that at all. So that shadow isn't caused by that. Oh, what is that shadow caused by then? Interesting. I expect this to be her hair and just illuminate that or get that shadow there. Isn't that what that is? But that's at least what it looks like. Could it be geometry? I don't think it is. I thought it's a shadow here, but maybe I'm wrong. It would have to be caused by something that comes from here, but we don't actually have a light from there. Interesting. Kevin, you're absolutely right, yes. I think Brian said once, it's just a wall of settings, and that's actually what it is, yes. It's not really for creatives to use, I find. I don't think it's for creative users at all. It's like 100% technical, and yeah, I wish there was a way, which is why I'm thinking core is actually an exciting idea, because the engine, underlying render engine that we think of Unreal Engine is really good. But of course, it's a bit like iRay. If you think of iRay, that's a command line application that's not really made for creative people at all. That's like, you know, give me a bunch of parameters and I'll do whatever, but you need to give me the parameters. And that's where the front end comes in. And so what we think of Unreal Engine, like this here, that's not actually Unreal Engine technically. That's the Unreal Engine editor, or the editor as it's just called, the Unreal Editor. And a bit like in Unity, it's a front end to get things done, to set parameters. But the engine is actually something else. And I wish somebody would come up with something like we know from DAZ Studio and from the kind of object portion of Blender and from other applications that just uses Unreal Engine in the background and just lets us use a front end that makes more sense. Because I mean, this makes sense to put game logic in to basically do everything, but I think that's just 90% too much of what we as character artists kind of need. You know, I mean, there's so many other sub tabs that you can open. I think it's just total overkill. And while I appreciate that it's there, it's not really the right interface to do stuff in like I'm doing right now. And I bet 90% of all other users who are not making a game with it. So I don't know if that's changing in Unreal Engine 5, but you know, it's one of those things. The trader is here. How you doing? Very good to see you. Yes, Mike, I agree. I totally agree. And I think with a better kind of, for a better word, worse editor, I think we can probably get that done. The shadow is caused by garbage. Oh, thank you. I like it. Oh dear. Very good to see you all. I think I'm going to give this a miss now. I think I'm going to render one more picture out of this, and then we're going to go and look at HDRIs and see if we can get a different pose of this character in. Let's try that. So let's go and render local. And that's going to be the last thing. I can't improve the depth of field. I mean, I can make it shallower, but it's not. Maybe we'll do that in the HDRI version. At least we got some light now that is kind of... Oh, look at that. Depth of field's now screwed. That is it. I'm giving up. That's it. I'm totally giving up now. This was it. Spent enough time with this junk. Now let's go and save my render settings just so that it remembers for next time. That is it. I'm giving up. I'm giving up here. I've made sure I didn't put any of my content into folders here. I might do that now. Can I go do that? New folder. And I'll call this one Studio Portrait. Hello, come on, I'm typing here. Studio Portrait. And then I'll go and put all my bits and pieces into here, into Studio Portrait. Yes, move there, absolutely. That's the point. perfectly moved. And I'm going to go and save everything and just start again from scratch. I think I'm going to use this project again because I'm going to reutilize the character, but I'm just going to give Unreal Engine a break here. I don't really know what's happened, why it's so grumpy. You use one character with 3 lights and it freaks out. I mean, what happens if you have 100 characters with vast open world levels and 4,000 lights? That behaves fine then, does it? I don't really get it. I tried, Camilla. I tried. I really, really, really tried. I might go and restart the launcher as well. It's a good idea. Yes, I totally tried. And we're going to try something else now. So let's try either the same character or even a different character, maybe even with a completely different project. We could do that. Different project. And let's look at how we can do this with HDRIs. So they're quite fascinating as well to use in Unreal Engine. But of course, it doesn't really work natively. It's always a key when they tell you have to install a plugin to make this work. That means, okay, so somebody had an afterthought that actually this would be a good idea, but it's not part of the engine. So somebody had to write some code that is so complex that it became a plugin, I suppose. Yeah, let's do a brand new project, and then we're going to copy a new character in that and see how we can handle that. Unreal Engine comes with a few HDRIs, which is nice. That's a nice touch. I'll say new thing. Yeah, completely from scratch. I like that. Blank project. And we don't want to do ray tracing. I don't even know where or how to enable it. And I'll say HDRI stream. How's that? So that I remember that. And we can once again make a decision. Don't be sorry, I like it. We once again have to make a decision which character we want to use. So interesting decision to make. First of all, let's install ourselves these 2 plugins that we need for that. So one thing that we need anyway is the movie render queue. Let's enable that. And we don't want to restart this now because we want to have another plugin which is called the Hdri Backdrop plugin. That's the one. So we need to enable that as well. And if we ever wanted to do transparent renders, I suppose we could also enable that in our editor right now. In fact, let's do that. Editor preferences. That's not actually editor preferences. It's in project settings. Let's look for alpha, which is also experimental. This here, enable alpha channel. I don't think we can use it because it's HDRIs. I don't think you can turn them transparent. I don't think that's how it works in DAZ Studio. In Unreal Engine. Dismiss, restart now. All right. Oh, it does. Oh, I've not had that happen to me, Pamela. It erases stuff. I know that sometimes if these things are installed as plugins, you may have to reinstall the plugins. I remember that. So for HDRIs, I think we need to go and let's make ourselves a new level. I mean, I could remove everything from this level. I could probably do that as well. Literally just select everything, just go bing. Yes, everything. Boom, blackness comes into the level. That's interesting. So that, and then under lights, let's go add a HDRI backdrop. Like literally drag and drop it in, and here it is. HDRI'd out with the wide open field, which is interesting. I'm going to put this into the total middle here on the X and Y. I don't think under Z. I think does Z make a difference? Yeah, it does. So I'm going to put this into the total middle here. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. Oh no, these trees here, they don't look great. I'll see if we can work that out. I think, yeah, that's that. So I find it interesting to see how Unreal Engine deals with this. So in HDRI, we think of it as just throw it in and start rendering, but that's under the hood. I think that's not how it works with HDRI. So in order to make something like a believable shadow on the bottom, you'd have to have a shadow catcher, and you'd also have you have the image that makes the background, but then you also have to turn that into like a light source, and there's also this reflection capture that needs to be in there. So it's all a little bit tricky, and I think this HDRI Backdrop plugin, if I understand their documentation correctly, that brings all this together. So it gives us a kind of a head start to that. So we're going to deal with the stretchy trees here in a minute, but if I go and just put a sphere in like so, then that is kind of almost all we need. Now we can go and frame that up like we could before. If this were on the ground, we can see it doesn't actually throw a shadow at the moment. For that we need another light source, and they recommend, bizarrely, that we use a directional light source. So we just pop that in. Directional light source, as you remember, it doesn't matter where it is in your scene. It doesn't have a location. It only has a rotation. So just for argument's sake, I'm going to put it into the middle here, and I'm going to put it on like height 200 or something, so that it's just in the middle, but kind of hovering here. And I'm going to make it movable. And once I have it, I can see it has a shadow here, which is, well, my object now has a shadow, which is kind of cool. So if I want, so you also see that it doesn't reach, I don't think it reaches everything, but it's necessary. Otherwise my object wouldn't have a shadow. I think, don't quote me on this, you can make the intensity more or less, and it's almost like it does have an area as well, because if I do that here, it looks like the back here, that doesn't quite change. Only up to a certain point it illuminates my ground, so it kind of has a reach here, which is kind of cool. So if you don't want to blow out your scene, but you want a subtle shadow, then we can make that happen there. So that's, you know, that's a good start, isn't it? So we need directional light and the HDRI backdrop, and then plonk a character in, frame up a camera, and then kind of take it from there. I'm thinking that is probably how it works, right? I did mention my GPU. Yes, it's an RTX 2080 I have. It's not the Ti, but I've got two RTX 2080s, so the regular ones back in the day when you could still buy them. And my CPUs are, it's also a dual CPU system. They are Xeon E5 2670 CPUs with 48 gigabytes of RAM. You're welcome. I think there is also, you can always try disable the grid. It looks more epic. I like the grid. I like the grid, I gotta say. I think, can you type in rig? Let's try typing that in. Rig. My bot might be able to tell you a bit of a story there. Let's see if it works. Rig, come on, bot, come on. Maybe it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, I'll give you a URL that describes how this system came to be and why I'm using it, because it's an older system. It's a ZX, sorry, not a ZX Spectrum, I'm so sorry. It's Z840 workstation from HP that I picked up literally for a song from eBay, and it's a good decision because as long as the GPUs are good and the RAM's good, you can just get a server type system that used to be like 5 to 8 grand a few years ago, literally for $500 on eBay now, and that's kind of what I did. HDRIs. Character first. No, let's talk about the stretchy trees here first. I think you go into HDRI, and then this thing here shows you what we're currently using, the cube map, and it also shows you the projection center, and I think the Z value of that will determine where the actual ground is. So if you zoom out of this, if you just press F, then you see how Unreal Engine actually makes this happen. So this is a very nice visual representation of how HDRI lighting actually works, or IBL, like image-based lighting, actually works. So you have a spheric HDRI that gets projected onto the sides, and then technically the insides of it will create wherever the light values, light will shine in. Where there's dark values, dark will shine in as such, and that's how we get these exciting realistic lights. So if we go and change the Z value here, you can see that this is where the ground is being projected. So if I make that lower, then that looks even crazier as the as the trees get stretched here. Or you can make that, I think 170 was the default. If you make that higher, then you can see that the trees stretch less and the ground starts stretching more, and that's how you can find like the perfect value. And it really depends on the HDRI. So I'm thinking maybe something like that here, 850. I'm just going to go and try and see if that works. If I go zoom in on this, yeah, this is a bit too much now, so I can see that my ground is starting to do this. So I'll go back to my HDRI and maybe make that a bit lower. And then, whenever the background seems okay, we can go ahead. We're probably not going to see this part of the floor here, so I think maybe this is okay. That's 350 for this particular HDRI, so it'll be different for different HDRIs. And if you're curious to find out where they are, they come with the engine. They're kind of built into the engine. You have to go and enable this here under view options. You have to say show engine content. If that's disabled by default, and that means you only see your own content folder, and that's currently empty. There's nothing in there. But if you enable that, then you see these other folders here, engine content and C++ classes. And if you go to this image here, that's kind of the HDRI. You can pick different ones here. If you go and click this little search icon, then it shows you that asset in the browser, and that shows you that that's in fact in I don't know, in buried, deep / seriously deep in textures, and then we have others. So we can go and drag these in. Those all come with Unreal Engine, and they all look, kind of nice here. It's a bit of autumn here. It's a really nice selection. And if you import your own HDR images, hey, this looks a little bit like Italy, doesn't it? That's what my mind imagines Italy to look like. If you import your own, oh, there we go. This is another thing that needs fixing here. Even though it looks rather scary, doesn't it? Very interesting. So I like that this is very easy to fix HDRIs this way, and it's kind of a logical way to do this. Ooh, road in Iceland, or something. Very cool. Yeah, so these come with Unreal Engine. If you import your own, like from HDRI Haven, oh, this doesn't look good, does it? Projection center, yes, make it less scary. Untick scary box. Oops, I've destroyed it now. What a shame. I think I like the autumn one. Yeah, maybe like this. Yeah, maybe like that. Doesn't look too creepy. If you bring in your own HDRIs from HDRI Haven, then or somewhere else, make sure they're HDR format. So EXR, it doesn't work. HDRI Haven, and like here they actually give you options. So if you ever wanted to download the Snowy Hillside #2, then up here make sure you select HDR, not EXR. EXR doesn't work, but you can just download them, then go and import them, fix the Z thing, and then go for like 100% happiness. I'm thinking I like to stay with autumn because it's kind of cool to have autumn. And let's go and have my sphere is not in the center. There it is. This is the center, and I'm going to go and bring in another character here. That maybe we don't need to see engine content anymore. Let me go and import another character. So we can either try Sparrow again, or we can go and try a different one that I may or may not have downloaded here. Paragon. Oops, wrong there. Paragon. This is Sparrow. We had Sparrow before. I've got Sevarog and I've got Phase. Narbash, Aurora Yin, or we can have a look on the marketplace and see which other Paragon character we want to use. I mean, since they are completely free, we might as well. Like other candidates yesterday included here, like the guy maybe. Like there's a bear guy here. We could use bear guy. He only has one outfit, so let's see what he looks like. Italy is flat. Yes, yes. That's where my archer can hang out. That's not a bad call. Exactly. But he looks crazy. Don't know if we're going to catch his pose like that, but it'd be interesting to see that. I don't know how many outfits he comes with. Looks like he comes with 2, like this one, and then there's also like a military green one here. That's Boris for us. He does look wicked, doesn't he? There's so many cool characters here that we can all get for free. I think she wasn't that great. Some of them have tons of armor. That means we can't really see their body all that well. Ooh, what's he? Rampage. Ooh, okay. Hello. How you doing? Oh, stone guy. Oh, he can. That's interesting. He can change. He can change from one guy into another, like total stone monster. Also nice. Flat means pizza. I don't know. You had pizza yesterday, didn't you? There's also a Twin Blast. He's cool as well. Again, pose. We'll see if we get him. But I like his trench coat here with the bullet holes. He's certainly the guy who gets things done. Oh, the Hawaiian shirt, also exciting. Is this good for an autumnal setting? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe more like a fantasy character. And today, all right. How about Sarath? How are you doing? Oh, Sarath has a bit of a hair problem here. That's interesting. She's like split down in the middle. That's interesting. That's your typical fantasy character. Perhaps not with that armor though. Yeah, very cool. Any preference, let me know. I'm really open to trying out all of them, or any of them. Then there's Decker here. He's got teeth and everything. Decker, how you doing? Decker has that powerful armor. Not afraid to kill you. They do like that hard material, don't they? That's Decker. Kebab, all right, very good. Mehran, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Welcome. Do you have a preference for a character, Mehran? I'm happy to use any of these. Shinbi, is she like anime? Is that even how you say that? Yeah, Shinbi. Look at that, Shinbi. Maybe we should use Shinbi. She can also be the wolf. That's also interesting. Food for thought. She's so Final Fantasy. Yes, absolutely. And then who else? We have Muriel. Oh, he's got Grux. He has definitely got teeth and everything. Oh, wow. Okay, he's like a rhino kind of guy. That might be good. Ooh, okay. Lots of metallicity and everything. Nice. They really have good characters, I must say. And they never made it into the game, so now we get to use them and play with them, which is just very, very cool. I'm thinking, I don't know. Rhino, right? Let's do this. Let's use Rhino. I think I can see him walking around in the whole autumnal level there. Let me go and add him to this. We go and check him out. Just need to remember his name. Grux. Rhino vote 1. Okay. Rhino it is. Rhino it is. I think, have we checked him out? I think so. I think he's now checked out officially. So he should be in my library now. Grux, there he is. And I can go and add him now to my project, which is going to be something about HDRI stream. There we go. add to project. See if we can make that guy work. Oh look, he's only 3 gigabytes to download, so that's not much at all. In the meantime, we can probably save our level here, because we haven't quite done that. This level with all these things, and let's go do that. File, save, current as, and we'll call this one Autumn Rhino, so that we know what's what here. That's that level. And in order for this to open up, next time I open up Unreal Engine, I'll go and say Edit Project Settings, Maps and Modes, and then I'll go, instead of Template Default, which is that empty level, I'll go and say Autumn Rhino on both these things. That's that. Let's see if we can bring Autumn Rhino guy in. I'm going to go and make these options, disable those again by heading over to here and say Show Engine Content. I'm going to disable that, and then I'll see much less stuff here on the side. And in a moment, this other folder should show up here. That'll show our character. See how far we're here. There we go. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. Awesome. Yes, the sword also comes with a pack. They're not really separate props, so I think you can't break them out sometimes. You can, but they're kind of combined with the character and the animation. So the way this works in Unreal Engine is that every outfit is technically a different skeletal mesh. So the clothing is often also like the skin textures and all that. That's all part of one object. So sometimes when they have clothing and that just defines a different zone on one object, and then that zone can have cloth dynamics on it. So that's why a character can have a wafty cape and whatnot. But the cape is often, I mean, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's not like in DAZ Studio where you have the character and then you have clothing that's a different figure and that kind of follows one another. It's not quite like that in Unreal Engine. You only have one object. Sometimes you have two objects that move with one another, and then the second object, like a shirt, that's really only the shirt. There's no body underneath it. It's just the one thing, unless you have it in that you have two objects on top of one another, and one then has cloth dynamics and the other one doesn't. And it's the same with hair. But what's really cool is that if people have a sword, for example, they will be the sword will move with the animations. So let's see, this is my folder here now, Paragon Grux, and in characters I have heroes, and in heroes I have the Grux guy, and then here we have all these bits and pieces. So animation test map, that is a separate level that we could load. In fact, we could do it now because we have our level saved. So there's now a new level that gets loaded in, and he is probably going to be in there, and he's probably playable already as well. There we go. Needs a few shaders to be compiled, and he has all these, bits and pieces, and if we attach animations to him, he'll go and use them properly as well. Let's see what it looks like. And we'll be able to put him into our level, then record some of his animation things, and then hopefully pause him like in the middle there. See how it goes here. Yeah, I think if I go play in the selected viewport, there we go. This is his start animation, and then I can go and whoops. Do I not just wander around with you? No, I can't do that for some reason. So they haven't done that. But yeah, so all these animations, if I click, then he goes and does that. So maybe we can grab him like mid-air as he does that. That'd be kind of cool. And you see, when I started this, he actually kind of does different animations, and that's all part of the animation blueprint here. And if I go and have a look in him, so this is his character here. Let me go load my other level again, and then we go and bring him in. So Autumn Rhino, that's my level. If I go back into characters, heroes, Grux, and then just drag him in here, that character, I'll go put him in. Then he comes with his own camera attached already. So I don't really want that. I'll go bring him into the center. Well, maybe I shouldn't have zeroed out the Z. Where are you, dude? If I press end, it should actually go and put him onto the ground here. Unless, of course, it doesn't, which is also kind of possible. there. So if I go and open him up, I'll go take his camera away because I don't need to have that third-person camera. Then here he is. And this is now his idle animation, I think. So I'll take that away. Gets rid of a bit of clutter here. And in here, I can see that these things, they're all parts of his... these are all the texture zones here. These are material zones here. The materials. And this is all one mesh. So he has literally... he's holding these things. He's all one mesh. And then if I go and select something else, like Grok's Beetle Red, then that should compile the shaders, and that gives him a different outfit now. Bye, Pamela. Good to see you. And thank you so much for, you know, trying to buy me a coffee. I'm sure it's going to work at one point. Always good to see you. Enjoy Bella Italia. Yes, and I'll also hopefully upload a good couple of renders with him. Look at that. Everything's changed now. He's got the different things that he's holding and all that. It's very good. See, once that's compiled, what other outfits my man has, and also what other animations he has. So this is another thing here up here where it says animation mode. We're currently looking at the animation blueprint, but we can also pick an animation asset. And if you're familiar with how Unreal Engine works, all the animation snippets that make up like this fluid animation when you move a character around, they are made up of different snippets. So there's like the walking animation, but there's also the animation when the character stops walking and then just stands there idle. And so those are two different animations, and they're being blended together depending on what action the character is supposed to do in something called a blend space. And those blend spaces are put together in something called an animation blueprint. And that's what brings this thing together. That basically looks at, do I push my joystick forward and how quickly do I do that? Then transition from the idle animation into the walking or the running animation. If I press a button, then transition from while I'm walking into the slashing animation or something like that. That's what the animation blueprint basically does. But we can select that, or we can select an animation asset, and then we can pick the animation to play, and that'll then either loop or not loop. So like, you know, attack melee in the air, that would be his melee animation. So it happens to be looping, which is kind of cool. We can try that. So that's, if we record that, then we can probably park the animation in something like a, you know, like a nice part in there. But there's so many others, like base hero locomotion. That's not it. There's cast. What's cast? Cast is doing that. He's like, you know, doing something. He's about to do something. And what else? There's Death A. Poor little guy can... Oh, he's going to die over and over again. There's also Death B. It's kind of nice that you have different versions of him dying. So you can then see, like, you know, just randomly pick A or B or just cycle through them or something. So your character kind of dies differently. Then there's Double Pain. Oh my goodness. He's like, whoa, he's doing that. That is a good animation. And then once we record this, we can go and emote Skywalk. There we go. That's nice. He's like dancing. That's cool. Skywalk intro, also nice. So that's like before he starts, so he doesn't just pop into place. He would transition from that into that. Skywalk loop. Very cute. Hey there, how you doing? Do you know, I've seen you yesterday. I don't think I can pronounce your name. If you can write that out in an anglicized version, I can totally call you that. Bourbon, all right. Is that Bourbon? Wow, look at that. Gee, Camilla knows. That's awesome. If you'd like me to call you Bourbon, I'll call you Bourbon. Let's see what else we can have here. Front end pose. Oh, that's a bit like idle. Let's see if I can find something like idle. So idle is kind of nice to, so that he just stands there. But we might not get a perfect portrait out of him. I do like some of the previous ones in which he goes and does his fighting motion there. I think we can get a good shot out of that. Let's just have another look at some of the other outfits here. Grok's chest plate. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, bourbon vanilla sticks. Oh, that's really good. I like that. Bourbon vanilla sticks. I like him also with the loincloth and stuff. That's nice. I'm not too keen on too much armor because it means we would go and we wouldn't see much of the face. I do like that facial expression there. Hey, that is nice. So what does that look like if I go and try one of the earlier ones, like attack melee air, like that? I'm sure if we take that, we can get a really good still frame out of that. That could also be nice. Him, like, you know, being in mid-walk. I think double pane was nice as well. If we do that, then we can have a really nice wide shot of him, maybe. Maybe I'll try that. So that's double pane. Let's do that with that outfit. Let's do that. Save you, and then this is, whoops, this is where you are. And we'll see, we probably don't need the sphere anymore here. And we'll worry about the lighting in a minute. I just like for him to be on the ground. It doesn't really work. I don't know why. So, whoops. Dude, where are you? Ah, I think he's fallen through the floor. We may need, so we don't have any collision here. I think we might just need a plane underneath it so that we can at least have something that on which he can stand. Let's do that. Something like a plane. We can make it invisible. I'll just bring that in and put it right dead at the center here. 0, 0, 0. And then it's a bit small for him. It is probably gonna work just about. I might go and scale that up to like 10 times the size. There. But at least he has something to stand on. I don't know if does this work now? Yes, look, it has collision, so that's nice. I can go and maybe just make the plane on the Z-axis just like, you know, -1 so that it doesn't interfere with the HDRI. So that I think that'll be okay. And now he stands there doing this literally all the time. Let's see what's a nice part of the forest that we want to look into. Maybe that. That's nice. We could actually just go and can you do this now with end? Does this work now? End? Yeah, there we go. Now he's standing on the floor. Okay, let me try and turn him around, like rotation. Whoops, that's the wrong one. We're in, forget the Z is Unreal Engine. So if I'm thinking something like that, full frontal. If I go try 270, what would that look like? Yeah, I think that might work. And the background's only going to be blurred out anyway. So let me see what happens if I go and create myself a camera like from here. I think just go create a camera here, Cine Camera Actor. Yes, I like it. On my camera, I'll just call that one main cam so I remember what that is. On the film back, I think I'm going to leave everything on 16:9 digital film here. But I think the focus settings, I might just go and zoom in a bit there. And it'll depend a little on his on the animation that he's doing, but I think I like to capture most of what he's doing here. I could try and track him again. That worked quite well last time. So look at tracking. If I just enable that and then go and pick my Grux character, then he's looking at that, and I can go and maybe focus more on his upper body, like so. And then I'm always looking straight at him. That might work quite well. And then focus we'll worry about in a minute. In fact, I might just go and disable that for now so that we have everything in, you know, as strong as we can get it. And then our directional light also, that's giving something from the side. So I think there's got to be a way that I can adjust the intensity of my HDRI. I wonder if that works now once again with the post-process volume. We can probably still do it in the main cam. Under, not camera options, I think it's under post-process. Is it lens exposure? There we go. So if I go and make that manual again, then that's total black. If I go and crank that up to something that I like to see, like maybe 9 or maybe 10, then it's a little bit less blown out. I might do that. So, but I think what happens if I go and do this, we still see this non-exposed way here. So I could add this post-process volume again. I think I might just leave it and just trust that the camera exposes it correctly. So let's see what the directional light brings to the party. What's happened to your shoulders there, dude? That's crazy. So directional light, I'll bring it just up a bit so that it's not interfering with the character. And then let's see how it will... how it'll change the character here. See if I even need it. I mean, I do know it does something here. Say if I made it a little bit less dark, I could go and see if I can turn it around a bit. Come on, dude. You're not reacting. Why not? Oh, that's the main cam. I'm so sorry. Buddy, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. It's directional light. That's what I'm trying to rotate here. There we go. This is a bit like in Substance Painter now, isn't it? See, whenever it looks good. I love the idea of having some like reflection on his face. I think I might make it darker even. Darker still. And then bring the rest in post-production. Do that. I don't know how I can make the backdrop darker. I'm sure there's a way to do this. Intensity, how about that? How about intensity? Let's go use intensity. It's slightly less, like 0.5. Is that? Yeah, there we go. That makes it darker. It's like dark and creepy forest. 0.3, 0.1, and then 0 just makes it completely black. And this is now only the directional light that we're using. Okay. I like it. I like it. Cool. Interesting. That makes it very creepy. Almost makes me wonder if we should have a second directional light in this. I mean, we can also have other things like, you know, like a backlight from here. That might be nice. This is getting filled in with the HDRI, I'm thinking. Yeah, let's have a backlight then. From the back and separate him this way. Ideally both ways. I think this is okay already, but if we separate him from here, I think that might be groovy. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. That's the direction light. We should give it a... I'll blend this back. I'll blend this like, whoops. I'll blend this at 0.3. Right, yeah, so I think we need that post-process volume so that this exposure is similar to what we see through the camera. Let's go bring that in. That's okay. We can do that. So post-process volume, where might that be? Post-process volume, yes. Let's put it in here. Let's go and put that here, like 1,000 maybe. And on post-process volume, let's go make it literally everywhere. And under exposure, let's put the same as we did with the camera. So that's 9.5. So there we go. And then we see the same in the viewport that we see through the camera. I like it. And I think maybe I'm not going to have a trackable light this time. I'll just go have a, I'll just adjust it manually. And we said he needs to have it kind of from here. Let's go pin this. And I'll try it with the rectangle light, because I do like the quality that that has. Gotta be brutally honest. That's why I really like trackable lights, because you can just go and manipulate it until you're super happy. Oops. There, separation. Camilla, I forgot to ask, how did your 50 promos go? That is quite a number, I gotta tell you. Quite the number. Was it 25 yesterday and 25 today? That's quite crazy. Quite a lot. Yes, Mehram, I like it. I think that is a great idea. I think that is a great idea. Let's see if we can make the light color a little different. So both on the rectangle light, I'm gonna say let's use is it under light color? A temperature, yes, let's use temperature. I like the idea of saying maybe 4000 because it is autumn and all that. And now we need to do also that from I think the directional light. Let's do that as well. Directional light. I like it. Use temperature. 4500, there we go. Making him a little bit more orange and blend him with the background a bit better. Depth of field we're coming to, we're worrying about that in a second. I think we're kind of there. We're getting there. I think that's gonna be nice. Hey, let me show you something else. 24 on Friday, 28 yesterday, 11 today. Oh wow. And imagine they're paying you $1,000 a promo. That's not bad, is it? If only. Wicked, right? Let me show you something else. Julia will be interested in that. Hello, Julia. Good to see you. This is quite interesting. Julia and I've been talking about version control a lot recently and how to hook things up to GitHub. And version control, if you're not familiar with it, is a really funky system of tracking different. Not quite, right? I know, it's pretty good money. This is, which I'm super happy that you have that job. It's really cool. Version control is something we as creatives with our so many files and projects, we should really think about employing it more. Maybe I'll make a video on that soon, but essentially it lets you, when you hit Control S, usually in applications, that oversaves what you've had, and that means your previous version is wiped out. And like, imagine a Photoshop example where you had a really large image and you wanted to save a quick small version of it, for which you quickly, I don't know, combine the layers, and then you go and make the image smaller, then you go and export that out, and you accidentally hit Control S, your previous large high-res version would be wiped out. And I mean, I've been there, and it's annoying when that happens, but with version control you can alleviate that, because you can commit something and make basically lock in what's currently saved, and then when you save it over, that it becomes a different version, and then you can work from that. So in my case, like, Unreal Engine has this built in, which is very, very nice. It's this thing up here, source control, and I'm gonna go and put my project under source control because I'm kind of happy with what I've done now. And if we've seen one thing in the past, is that Unreal Engine tends to just go off the rails, and I'd like to create myself a point of the project to which I can go back and work from. So if I screw something up now, which is likely that that's going to happen, I can always go back to this point. So let me go and connect to source control, and I'm going to choose Git, and that is where Git is, and I'm just going to go and accept the settings. This takes a moment. Failed to enable Git source control. You need to initialize the project. Didn't I just do that? Come on, accept. Oh, why not? Go initialize it already. URL of the remote server. We don't have one. Why no work? Isn't that in Git? Isn't that where that is? Git bin? Maybe it isn't. There's me trying to show you something really cool that has worked every single time. And of course now it doesn't work. Is it under Git and under bin? Is that not where that is? There's Git exe. Go use that. Go accept settings. Go on. Doesn't work. What a shame. You need to initialize the project as a Git repository first. I thought you'd... Oh, there we go. Initialize with Git there. That's the thing, Julian, I've been talking about. That's a command line sequence of things that you put in there, and then you say accept settings, and now it puts it under version control. It takes a second, and we can go and dismiss these messages. So now this thing's changed here, and this now means that whatever I've changed in my project, I can always come back to, which is seriously cool. Not so much from within Unreal Engine, so I can make commits with this, but I can't go back to anything that I've changed. Like, you know, these files on the bottom here, they have not been placed under version control, I think. So I can go and submit that to source control, I think. If I do that, it goes and should come up with this and says, hey, there's some projects files that haven't been committed yet. I don't know what to do with them. Do you want to add them? And I'm saying yes, adding my custom level. That's my commit message. I'll say submit. And then the icon on these things is going to change. Failed to check in files. Why? Don't do that. Save all. Try this again. Submit to source control. Yes, yes. Yes, adding my custom content and submit. God damn it. It doesn't work today. It's one of those things, I don't really know why. Usually it does, and it's super, super easy. And then that means I can go back to my previous changes that I've made. So it looks like today it doesn't want to do it. Maybe GitHub for desktop does it. Let me go and quickly try and connect that. Let's go and add a local repository. Like in my case, that is under here and then under Unreal Projects. And in my case, that's under HDRI stream. I think that was it. That's what I want to put. Add repository. Okay, perfect. So this is all the stuff that needs to be committed here. It looks like it hasn't quite done that. So I'll call this one initial commit to master. A log file already exists in the repository which blocks the operation from completing. Well, that's uncool, isn't it? Maybe we need to just go quickly close Unreal Engine as it holds a lock on that. And then let's go and try this again. Yes, so now it works. I really like for my projects to be under version control because it also means that if I make something I can share with you, like a portrait light starter or something, I can go and put it on GitHub and you can go and download it from there. If I make changes, the changes will be populated there automatically, and it's just a nice way of working. If you're working with a team and you work on one project across 3 or 4 people, then everyone can basically pull the changes from the source, and it's just all very good. In this case, I won't be able to share it with you because I'm not allowed to distribute the character that's included in here. So I could share all the other files with you, but I'm not allowed to share the binaries with you. It's going to take a moment because it's 3 gigabytes worth of stuff, but it's okay. We'll let it running. There we go. So now all the local changes have been committed. I can go back to my my project, and then source control should be happy. Right, exactly. It laughs at you. Sorry, Julia. Git wants to be your friend, though. It just says, you know, I need to go. It needs to be all above board. So it's nice that in Unreal Engine we literally have this one button that is currently missing in core. So I'm hoping that they're going to implement that. Fingers crossed. But GitHub for desktop is really is your friend in regards to making your own commits, I think. There, so next item on the agenda then is record his animation and then pick a perfect frame, readjust the camera, and then render out a couple of pictures. Okay, one thing at a time. Let's go and add a level blueprint. Under cinematics, add level sequence. That's the one, level sequence, and we'll put it in here. We'll call it autumn forest rhino maybe, because that's what we're doing. I could put it into a folder maybe, perhaps. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go put it into a new folder and I'll call it here sequences. And you go in there. Boom, perfect. So in here, let's record him first actually. See if he still works. If I go and hit play, then he does this. That's perfect. That's the kind of animation I'm thinking about. I think I need to go and track him here first. I think track Autumn Forest Rhino. That's not it here. I need the actor, don't I? Which is the Grox player character. That's him. So he gets tracked now. If I go and hit play now, I'll go and record him. Yep, we totally want to record this, and boom. There he goes. Ha! 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 Oh, thank you. That's a take. That's okay, thanks. Thanks, dude, you can stop now. That's perfect. So now I think when we go and move this around, his animation gets tracked here, frame by frame. We recorded way longer than we needed to, of course. But maybe this might be a nice pose here, like him going back. So either that or that, or we can even render out 3 pictures here. I think maybe that's probably a nice pose here, him lunging at us. So frame 8. You could trim the play range down. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to remember frame 8, and hopefully give a kind of handsome framing here. This might actually work better with like a shorter focal length, so that we get his arms in as well, and then we get up close to him, and that makes this, it kind of distorts his facial features a little bit, but it might work. Current focal length, make that something like 18 maybe, and then we go and zoom kind of more in here. And maybe that's nice. And then the rest we do with the player offset tracking. So we'll do this. And then is this X now? I'd rather we didn't show the ground, because that's not going to look all that awesome since it's that HDRI ground. So maybe I'll go and just try to zoom in more on him. I'm trying to find kind of a healthy medium on both arms, as well as you know, getting enough of the body in. And that's one thing that is difficult to do with the player tracking. If you just do it with the character, so maybe we have better luck if we go and put in a target point instead. Then we can manipulate that independently of where the character is. Let's do that. Target point, ponk. Target point goes 0, 0, 0. And then our main camera is going to go and look at that. So instead of tracking the player character, I'm going to go and track my target point. That's going to ruin my framing for now, but that's okay, because with the target point, so even if I go and set this to 0 now on my relative player offset, if I go and take my target point now and just watch that, that framing here, I can go and put this wherever I need my camera to point, and that's kind of helpful. Also, if I go and switch off snapping here that I have right here, like seamless control. So that means I like it this way because it means if I wanted to put my camera further up or down, it just tracks that particular point. So I like the idea. Could even have him like as a half profile, like so. Maybe like this, and then this is what I spent way too much time with, by the way. Settings like this, and then give it that negative space here so that I can go and show the other weapon here. Yeah, I think that might be cool. That add a bit of depth of field to that, and we'll see, maybe we're there then. Could be nice. That's on frame 8, so maybe that's going to look good. Maybe not. I don't know yet. Do we need more room at the top here, maybe? Let's go back a little bit so that I have a little bit more room everywhere. I just might bring tracking point over to like here. There, I can always go zoom in a little bit in the post, I'm thinking. Cienfuegos! Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. So, getting the picture out of this. I suppose this is where version control could come in handy. I can say commit now, I'm thinking. Errors, no assets to check it. Well, that's incorrect because actually no, it's correct. I need to go and save my files, don't I? So save all. And does it help me now? Submit to version controls, checking in assets to do things with. And it goes and says, great, so these things need to be version control. So I can say framed up my camera. Target point is added as well, so let's see if it works. Does it work? Yes! Committed master framed up my camera. There we go. I think GitHub for desktop should automatically track those changes. Yeah, there we go. Even though I've spelt it incorrectly. This is my initial commit. If I had now screwed something up with what I've done now, I can go back to here, which is kind of cool. So let's hope I don't have to do that. And every change I make that is kind of a significant key point in my journey, I can just go and commit. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, that's neat. Rendering a picture. Oh no, depth of field. Depth of field. Let's do depth of field. So main camera, I had disabled that focal method. With the lower focal range, I think we might not have as many difficulties now. If I go and say manual, and I say draw debug plane as well, and I'll go and pick my character here with the eyedropper. Let's see if this works. So ideally, it should, that should do the trick. If I go and draw that debug plane, hopefully it's gonna work now. And if not, we're gonna have to just, work on that. Is he out of focus already? I can't say. So, camera. We need to track. That needs to be part of the animation. So main cam, track, add to sequencer. Oh, come on. Main cam's already here. Okay, gotcha. But it's not got a camera cut track on here. That's uncool. How do I do that then? Oh, how do I do a camera cut track? Because the sequence needs to know what to render out, and usually when I add an actor like this, or like if I track my camera, which now is already tracked, all I need now is a camera cut track. And you're also called Elvis. Oh, right. But you're not I killed Elvis, right? Or I called Elvis. That's someone else, correct? That's another view of mine, but I don't think that's you. How do I add a camera cut track then? How about this? Add camera cut track. And then in here, shall I go and say camera main cam? Is this how it does it? Yes! we can do that automatically. And go and feel free to extend that all the way over to here. That's not you, no. I thought that. Oh, that is you. Oh, okay, good, 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 good. All right. Well, welcome. Now I've put two more faces together. That is cool. Elvis. Wonderful. Cienfuegos equals I killed Elvis equals I called Elvis. Wonderful. I've learned something new today. Let's see if we can render out a picture. It's fairly intense, I know, but let's see if we can do it. Save all. We already have the movie render queue installed, so let's go do that. And just with nothing, it should give out a 1920 by 1080 JPEG. And if we wanted to make that larger, we can do that here. I think just ×2. Does that work? Yes, perfect. And we say ×2. And then now it's a 4K image. And what image did I say I wanted? I think it was frame 8, wasn't it? That is you. All right. Good to know. Let's go from frame 8 to frame 9. Accept, hit render local, sit back and enjoy the action, and it's completely blurry. What a shame. Ah, you spent all that time. But then that was the preview. Maybe the real render is actually totally fine. No, it's not. Okay, that's uncool. So then, answers on a postcard now, forgiving the depth of field completely. Where does the motion blur come from? I mean, I have an animation in 60 frames a second. I'm picking out one exact frame of that, and it's, you know, it's giving me almost 2 frames rendered at the same time, hence making that motion blur happen. But should that happen? I mean, I know it's a fast animation and everything, but should that happen? I wonder. Answers on a postcard. Let's try it out. If we go and say, like here, if we do set a custom frame rate, and so notice that my timeline is set to 30 frames. So maybe that's something I should change, because I know the animation is 60 frames. Let's go make this 60 frames. So that means my thing now should happen on frame 16, and there shouldn't be any motion blur. Is this something that makes sense to us all? So I'll go this now, frame 16, frame 17, accept, render, and nope, same thing happens, or does it? Or does it? This is 16. Well, there's certainly less motion blur, but I can still see motion blur. Because that's not just depth of field, that's motion blur here for sure. I mean, I can eliminate it by making sure the depth of field gets taken out. I could try that. I could just disable that. So now we don't have motion blur. Let's go and try and render that again. So that's now no depth of field. That also means the exposure is different, of course. But I still see motion blur. Frame rate, but that's what I thought, Mehran. But it isn't. What happens if I go and say custom frame rate? If I say custom frame rate UB 60. Because the animation, I would imagine the animation is rendered in 60 frames. Maybe it's not. Maybe the animation itself is actually 120 frames. Or 240 even, that could be. We're going to get to the bottom of it. So some of it was definitely caused by the depth of field. So that's now been taken out. Let's isolate the problem, shall we? Let's say 120 frames. 120 frames. So that also means I need to change my my custom start frame into the next one. So it'll be 32, actually, 32 to 33. Let's check it out, see what happens. No, that's not the case. Well, that's pretty clear. So the animation is higher than 60 frames. Whoa! Interesting, isn't it? So it's a high frame animation. Well, that makes perfect sense. If they've made it so that it'll be like a 120, 240 frame game, the animations need to be on par. Never even thought about this. My goodness. Sebastian, the post-process volume I've put in there so that I can adjust the exposure manually. So that's only there. I'll just say outtakes here. That's only there so that if I drop down my camera in exposure and whatnot, so that I see the same effects in the viewport. So I'm really not using it for anything other than preview purposes. Mehran gets 100 points because he's worked it out. So let's say frame 33 is what I want to frame up. I'll use 120 frames here, and then I'll go and say here, I'll just go back to not overriding that. So just using, oops, no, sorry. Just using don't override frame rate here. And I'll say frame 33 to 34. Hit accept. Mehran gets 100 points. Even though the previous, still looks blurry. Can we explain that? Is it a 240 frame animation? Is that what it is? Do we need to maybe just resubmit this to my friend the render queue? That could also be. Let's try that. Let's try both. Let's try this first. Let's go resubmit it. And say, I didn't save my render settings, did I? That's quick enough to redo. Times 2. 33, 34. It'll overwrite that anyway, just to see. This is with 120 frames. If that doesn't work, we'll try 240 frames. It's as easy as that. 240 frames it is. Who knew they'd provide such super fast animations with their projects? How exciting. 240, all right. And that's now frame 66. I love working these things out. That is very cool. This is now frame 66 and 67. No more motion blur. That could well be the reason behind. It's almost like it's still a little bit blurry, but his face is okay. So is it really that? Is it really that? It's got to be that. Mehran, thank you so much. I don't think I would have looked into that direction. I don't think I would have thought in terms of this thing's got, 240 frame animations. Ha! Good stuff. I should have examined them. Examine the animation you're actually using. Very cool. Also, kudos to Unreal Engine for having recorded them at that rather than at the frame rate that I had here, because otherwise, but that's just weird. How interesting. Very interesting. So there's only one other puzzle that I have, and that's just a little bit about the framing. So if this is frame 66 and I'm seeing my camera like that, how come I'm not actually seeing that framed up like this? So I see more of his upper body cut off. So that then tells me something else, that of course for some bizarre reason, and my camera here is not quite in the right position. I bet if I do this, no, that does that. Yeah, so then that I don't quite understand. Why would that happen? If I'm rendering definitely my camera here, why does my camera not show what I'm actually framing up here? Do you know what I'm saying? Let me go and take this out. Camera cut track's definitely doing my main cam. It's definitely doing movie render queue. I'm doing that. Forest Rhino. No shot main cam. Why is it no shot? Do I need to record my camera as well? That could be. Let's do that. No, that only recorded my Rhino guy, which is okay, but my main cam is no longer part of my thing here, which is not okay. That's just not okay. Track my main cam, dude. Why are you not doing that? My main cam's underneath. That's his camera boom. That's not my main cam. Is kind of in here. It's kind of uncool. I want that to be its separate track here. Oh, there we go. So if we harken back to frame 66 or thereabouts, 67 is also good. 66, there we go. That's what my camera sees. That's definitely what my camera sees. Why aren't we then? Why aren't we then seeing that? No shot main cam. I don't get it. Does that make sense to anyone? Because it doesn't to me. Yeah, it's like my camera's framing is really not at all what I'm framing up there. Why is that? Does that make sense? Did you use, Mehran, did you use look at tracking in your project? Because it just occurred to me that one thing that we're using as a reference point is my target point, but I'm not letting my target point participate in the animation. Could it be that that's the problem? So I'm using my target point to line up my camera. And, oh, there we go. That's interesting. So now it's just snapped back into this, and that equals the framing that I saw earlier. And I thought the target point would make it easy for me to frame things up. This is the first time I'm seeing my preview equal to my render. But before that could be a bug. There's so many bugs. I don't know why people jump on Unreal Engine 5. I mean, that's even more full of bugs. Let's just stick with the stable version, shall we? Interesting. I'm actually happy to hear that it happened to you as well, because it's not something I really understand. But then, what do I understand about Unreal Engine? Ah. Let me go and remove my target point. Just do manual framing. Or just track the target point also. That's a possibility as well. Target point. Because if I move that... Yeah, see, now I move my target point, but the camera doesn't move. Okay, so it may be the fact that the target point wasn't tracked. That's a possibility. I'll remove it. I'll remove it and do it manually. It could well be that it's just, you know, messing with it. Actor to track. I'd like to clear that, please. Oh yeah, it doesn't do that. Yes, that is a problem. Yeah, that is a major problem. Ah. None. There we go. Now we're not tracking anything. Let's leave it that way, and then just use these guys to do the manual framing. So I tell you, the amount of levels that you need to think in. Let's leave it like this. Let's say this is what I want to frame up. It doesn't have any keyframes here, so it should be just global settings. And of course, that's not how it works, is it? Oh, nice. Loving that. Should I have set a keyframe? I didn't. Dang, brother. Just show my guy already. That's all I want. Tick the show character option. It's usually, I think also my experience is that when things like that don't behave as they should, then it's usually because I'm doing something wrong. What happens if I do this now? Do you stay here? Let's stay. just go render this again, see what happens. Yes, now the framing is correct. Now the framing is correct. Jesus, my God. So we got something here, I think. Let's go and try to add that depth of field on there now. Now that everything works, let's go screw it all up. Let's go and first tell version control, this is what we're kind of happy with. Finally framed up the camera thing, save everything, that prompts you for that. Finally framed up the godforsaken camera. Dang it. Submit. It's a good commit message. Man, look at tracking. It's it's tricky, isn't it? It is really, really tricky. It's just, why does it get in the way so much? Thank you. I appreciate that. I find it quite amazing that we have to think in these realms. It's kind of also what makes playing with these apps so fascinating. So what I don't appreciate, I gotta be brutally honest, what I don't appreciate is when you apply logic and then your logic doesn't work. And that's what I don't really understand. You know, you think, well, like earlier when the framing was just off and the preview was not equaling the render. Why is that? Why doesn't it? Why? And then you do the same thing, and then all of a sudden the preview kind of updates, and it's just something you just have to live with. And so this is one part of logic I don't like in computer games either. When you have something and you said, well, I've tried that before, and just for some game bug, it didn't do what it was supposed to. So I'm dismissing the idea that I'm kind of in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I've already tried that, and if that didn't work, then I'll move on to something else. But if that in fact just needed to be done twice or 3 times, that's something I don't really appreciate in any design. So I'm glad I can share this with you though. Let's see, so depth of field then. Depth of field, main camera selected, look at tracking is not something we want to use. Maybe disable look at tracking, that's probably what we want here. Disable look at tracking, film diagonal focus settings, and let's try this again. So we could say tracking, tracking a particular object. Is that a good idea? That could be something we could employ. So we can literally put a tracking point on the guy's eye. We'll leave that for next time. Let me try it manually. Draw debug focal plane. Also, let's go and select this guy. That's not going to be in focus. It's almost like we need to set a proper tracking point and put the tracking point into the guy's eye so that Unreal Engine can track that point. And then we need to kind of marry that tracking point up with the guy so that as he moves, there's always something to track the focus. That's almost something that I'm trying to do, even though this should be fairly close, shouldn't it? Let's try it this way. Just see if it works. Did we actually render this out in 4K, or is this in... No, it's not, see? Totally isn't. Times 2. Also, save a preset. Whatever it was before. Well, render settings is good. Oh, come on. Render settings. There. So accept. Why is the framing now messed up? Is it because I think I know what I did. Dang. Framing's messed up again. I think also I don't like the song. No, not add to playlist, remove from playlist. How do I do that? Remove from playlist. Totally isn't working. Because I like the rest of the songs, but that one is just not good. not, you know, it doesn't fit in with the mood. It's not like, you know, how do we do that? Remove from playlist. Dude, not download, no, just remove. Aren't you in the playlist? Add to playlist, no. course, I know. Do you think, Nate? I think these programs exist to test our patience. I have the same problem. My preview is correct, but my render is not. If I move this now, it doesn't actually change. Do I have to go undo this with the camera, then go and like select something else, then quickly go back to main cam? Why? That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, I could just give my camera a few keyframes here. Nothing wrong with that. Like literally, yeah, all of it. Track. Yeah, basically everything. Just one keyframe, just every component that you can. Just track it all. Just put it in there. Like, okay, fine, the transforms then. Set, there, perfect. Set absolute. Big mistake, as it turns out. Why? Who said that? Nobody said that framing. Get Tim Sweeney in here. Dude, have you looked at this thing? Why does this happen? That doesn't make any sense. That so doesn't make sense. Can I just do this? Like that? That's a keyframe, right? That's a keyframe. That I can't really explain. I mean, all I did on the camera was in the look at tracking sections. I think it was just enabled. Look at tracking was enabled, but I didn't have a character set, so I just set clear to this. And then this happened. And then I set up my framing again. I could kind of understand why this happened, but I think then the one thing that I did was just set this to disable. And then the whole, mayhem started. So I might just try to frame that up again, take that keyframe away, but then now we're having this again. So now the framing's kind of good again, isn't it? Yet if I go, I can even just go and take that away completely. Just go and do that. I think it's ender settings, perfect for what we want to do. And do we do this? Framing's off. It does not make sense, though, does it? It doesn't. And it's not enough to say, well, it's just a bug. It's not. There's got to be. This is not really usable, though, is it? How do people use this for production things? I don't get it. So I'm trying to get a single picture out of this, and it's totally screwing with me. Last time what I did is just start up with the brand new camera. Could do that as well. I mean, it wasn't rocket science to set this up. Maybe we'll just do that. So camera, go away. Cut track, go away. Camera itself, go away. Yes, let's break everything. I like it. And just start again, like basically from scratch, like this. So create camera here. And I gotta be also brutally honest. Last time I did that, it also didn't work. So the brand new camera exhibited the same issues that my other camera had. So I'll call this one backup cam, because I don't give up easily anymore. And with backup cam now, I'll go and set up my manual exposure like I did before. Look at tracking we're not going to use. So this is not only that everything's disabled, everything's on off. Focus settings will worry about that in a second. This is under post-process lens exposure, and we'll set this to manual. So essentially exactly like what I put on my post-process volume, 9.5. Let's take a look at the framing, at the depth of field, like this guy. Focal plane. Focal plane, and we go do kind of this, and we just kind of hope to, what's it, 250? Is that good? No, like 240. Yeah, no, 240, I'm saying. Okay, 230, 220, do 200, anything, man. Anything that was close to this, that's 338, so it's like 350 then. 380, 320, 300. Oh man. I'm going to do the next thing I'm going to try before we call it a day. I'm going to try setting a tracking point or target point on his eye, and then I don't have to do this crap anymore, because that's really weirding me out. This basically everything about Unreal Engine is weirding me out. Nothing works. Everything's balked. Nothing works by any logic I've ever come across. It's very, very sad. Now let's track godforsaken backup cam. Also makes the camera cut tracks, all awesome. Framing is as we see it here. Right, we'll go and delete that. We'll go do totally by the book. Go and save everything. Submit this to here. Righty, are we doing anything with the backup cam? Yes, no shot backup cam. Good description. Let's go render this. Framing's off! This is what I mean. So you do it all again and somehow it still doesn't work. And it's just, that's really where the logic no longer applies. And so Unreal Engine essentially does what it wants and ignores the user completely. Why is that? That doesn't make any sense. Also, I'm not zoomed in. I'm not zoomed out. What a shame. Can you follow this logic? Is there anyone who can explain this to me? Where my thinking goes wrong? Chris, good idea, good idea. Mom keeps saying it's because it's unreal. That could be. I tend to agree. Dragonate's mom, wonderful to see you. I didn't know you were watching. It's very nice to see you. So logic really doesn't work here then. Shall I try? What else could I try? I've tried keyframes, that didn't make a difference. We could try to restart Unreal Engine. Maybe that might make a difference. It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. I've also got my version control, so I could always go back to a version that once was working. That's also possible. It's worth a try. I'll go and restart the launcher as well. Not that I think it makes a major difference, but just, you know, we've got all the bases covered. And with all the amazing things you could do with Unreal Engine, it also has a ton of shit in there that is just, that's just, you know, that's just such a shame. And you think those are like basic bugs that they would have, somebody would have discovered them and then worked them out? Or am I the first person in the history of Unreal Engine who's using the product like this? Is that the problem? A hammer, that might be. That might be the only solution here. Well, let's try it one more time. And if we can't make it work, you see the thumbnail looks nicely framed up. I appreciate that it can do that. That's neat. Nate, that's probably the way to go. It's usually when these things happen and, you know, no one knows the answer, it's usually because I'm doing something wrong. It's probably not meant to be used in this way. I mean, who wants to render still images out of Unreal Engine? We want to make games, don't we? Interactive environments, build metaverses and all that. So in the camera cut track, I can already see that my camera's framing isn't actually... Hello? Do we not want to move him at all anymore? Oh, that sounds like a bit of a problem. Why didn't that save? Actor Grux player character. Here's the transforms. Dude, why you no work? Yeah, well, that's you in preview mode, isn't it? And we should be... Where's your animation that we painstakingly recorded last time? Is that no longer here? Is that explainable? Why does my man no longer walk around here? Did we not? Isn't there a file somewhere? Like not so much in animations, but in here, the cinematics, movie pipeline, presets. So that I didn't make that. Ender settings. Oh yeah, that's me. That's cool. I've done that. I should really rename that. But didn't I? When I recorded the animation, where does that get saved? Isn't that a take that gets saved somewhere? The sequences here, that's just my sequencer object. What? I did though, Bluxfy. That is what I'm doing, isn't it? That is what I'm doing. This is basically just I'm selecting my frame, and then it's doing that, but it's not acknowledging, it's not rendering what I'm seeing in my preview. That's the problem I had. And now, of course, my problem is that my animation that I did save before we closed the project no longer actually works. We recorded his animation though, didn't we? Well, does that just evaporate when you save the project? Does that make any sense? I mean, yeah, sure, I can do it again, but the point is... So with him selected, oh, I can't do that, that's interesting. Player character, so record him once again. Where does this get saved now? Does this get chucked in the bin the moment we're done here? That's just, this makes no sense. Oops. Playhead, there we go. Camera cut track just slightly beforehand, and now it'll be probably a different frame here. I'd liked. Yeah, let's say this one here. 214 is now 221. 222 is now the new lucky frame that we want to render out. This is the animation. Do we need to now save that somewhere? Pre-infinity post, isn't it? Where is that? Do I mean, just out of curiosity, right? If I go and save the everything, so like as an all, including the godforsaken sequencer, what happens if I go now and close the project and come back to it tomorrow? Is the animation now wiped out? Does that mean takes can't be recorded? Or do I need to... It usually means I need to do it differently. It's not like, you know, don't press the record button and assume everything gets set. You probably need to open 15 more windows, just like 400 other settings, buy a plugin, install something, then it might work. Because if the animation now doesn't come back, I mean, how do we even save that? That's just... You can't just work 3 hours on a project, render out one frame, and then when you want to come back to it tomorrow, it no longer works. There's got to be, it's got to be different. No, you see, God's key animation doesn't get saved, and all it tells me is no animation. Usually we set this to custom here. Isn't that what we do? And then custom would acknowledge what's in the sequencer, but of course there's nothing in the sequencer anymore, so that is right, Nancy. We'll find it when we're not looking for it. That's exactly how it works. Hey, if that's the last thing we're going to try and do today, let's figure out how we can save an animation. I know there's something called the mysterious take recorder. That should do it. I mean, that's something else. I don't really know where to look for that. Developer option, probably. Visualize advanced is probably an advanced thing, isn't it? Take recorder. That's the thing with which you can go and record things if you have like a motion capture suit and all that. But you think the normal record button would suffice? And no wonder nothing gets tracked if nothing is saved. Window. How about that? Is there something in here? Content browser, developers, fields, blueprints. Anything usable. Cinematics. Is that where that is? Take recorder. Alright. Takes browser. Is that how it works? You record takes, but unless you save them, they disappear. Is that how it works? Search. I don't know where that would be. I think this is what I want here. Take recorder. Here it is. Scene whatever. So if we were to go and do this now, if we go and say, you get to simulate. There we go. That's perfect. And now I can go and probably use, I don't know, maybe a record function anywhere here. No, of course not. We'll go and have to... Sequence is now also empty. I don't really know why. From actor. Yes. Him, for example. Absolutely. Let's go record him. Something tangible. Goody, thanks, it's a wrap. Thank you, print. Awesome. You. What do I do with you? How do I save you? See, that's what all these things are now. That's him here, that's perfect. That's also him here. So all our recordings are technically there. Thank you. You can chill. But how do we then get to use them? Why do I see two people dancing in my scene now? That is highly illogical, yes. Take recorder. And it, interestingly, finds more level sequences than I recall having created. Autumn Forest Rhino, that's the one that we used, but there's no animation in here. I don't really understand that at all then. Oh, is that what it does, Nate? Is that what it does? Yeah, interesting. I don't really have... I've run out of ideas of how to record and then stash an animation. I've run out of ideas. I think that might be a good idea, Nate. I think let's do that. Let's rejoice in the fact that we understood half or 90% of what it entails to bring something out, but let's also acknowledge that really it's not really usable all that much. Where's my sequence now? That I've closed the take recorder and now this thing is completely gone. Where's my... Didn't I call it Autumn? Like, I'll use Julia's suggestion. It was called Autumn Rhino Forest. There we go. Double click to open. So that at least that's back. Even though, check it out, it wasn't exactly... Oh, it's in sequences, isn't it? Yeah, perfect. So it's in sequences. That makes sense. I put it there. I remember making that. That's cool. It's tracking everything except for my character and his animation. So more research to be done. How do we save animations with a project? Take recorder. Well, do you know they have really good documentation? I'm sure take recorder Unreal Engine will give us the answers. Using the take recorder. First item on the agenda, take a chill pill. Take recorder enables the fast iteration of recording performances and quickly reviewing previous 4 virtual production workflows. You can easily record animations from motion capture linked to characters in the level as well as actual live link data for future playback. You can't save them, but you can record them. By recording takes and adding them to sequencer, productions of all sizes and any number of takes can easily be accommodated. Most common use of a take recorder will be with projects using LiveLink. We're not doing that, but you know, I'm not using Unreal Engine as it's intended anyway, so I'm okay with that, I think. Uninstall program, delete PC, burn down your house. Nate, that's very extreme, isn't it? LiveLink Face AR sample. It's really kind of not at all what we want to do. But we'll review it, yes. And then somehow it goes into folders. It's all awesome. Preset save location. Are you sure it's in there using layered record? Not interested in that? Interesting. Interesting. The take browser icon. I think we've discovered that. And then somewhere magically there's the preset save location. Maybe that gives us a hint as to where that actually was. Was that in here? Take recorder. It takes browser. So those are two. Oh, there we go. Those are my takes. Ah, those are my takes. Is that it here? Can I just go and drag that into here now? Into here, in fact. Do you do that? It goes and does it, but also it now means I have 2 people in here. I don't really mind. I can just go and take the other guy out. That then destroys all of that. Well, that just doesn't really make sense, does it? Why is this a sub-scene? That makes no sense. There's just one animation that was on this track. Just record keyframes, goddammit. At least we found it. And this was the animation we've used for that. Gotcha, gotcha. It's kind of what it told us that it would do. And if I just open that, then this happens. That's this here. I like that. And now, of course, my camera's wiped out because there's a different sequence here. But if the documentation is so cryptic that it doesn't really make sense, Julia, then what do we do? Isn't the documentation there that explains one feature? And you think, yeah, okay, I know kind of half of it now, but it also still doesn't really make sense. So it's just some madman had an idea, released it as open source, and, you know, millions of people are happy with it. And when Jay gets it, it's like, sorry, it's just, that's how I feel. Yeah, so this doesn't make sense. If I work it out, I'm sure going to share it with you. But for now, I think we'll file this under fail streams of 2022. Grab ourselves a cup of coffee and do something else for the rest of the day. Maybe play Stardew Valley or something. I think, you know, it's been nice exploring this. I think I'll keep at it, and I'll see if I ever find a solution to this. I'll certainly will let you know. I feel like I've figured out 90% of what it takes to get there, which is a long process. But yeah, it's also not something that I'm in a hurry to do again. It's just such a shame to literally see the finish line over there and then just for it to be beamed away into a different universe. It's such a shame. Thank you for joining, though, and thank you for all the coffees that you bought me. I really appreciate that. Let's connect again next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm also thinking there might be another Twitch stream in the afternoons around 4-5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time coming up this week. If you're up for that, then do let me know. There is probably also going to be another DAS stream on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I might be around for that as well. Have a good week, and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.